Hey, what's up everybody? Gonna do a classic rock reaction, man. This is a complimentary quad, man. Complimentary quad featuring the music of Genesis. So we've got these songs lined up, man. Starting off with Watcher of the Skies, and it's live, followed by Dancing with the Moonlight, live as well, or Dancing with the Moonlit Night, sorry. Followed by I Know What I Like, that's live, and finally a studio edition of Firth of Fifth. Before I pop this off, man, I just want to give a shout out and a thanks very much to Francesco. Now it's either Francesco or Francisco. Let me know which one you prefer, man. I'll call you Francisco, just the way it's spelled. So, man, let's start off with Watcher of the Skies. Live Genesis. I'm trying to go back in my mind, determine if I've ever seen Genesis live. And this is back in the days of Peter Gabriel, I'm not sure. Alright, man. Genesis, Watcher of the Skies. Let's get it. Young Phil Collins.
Come to end. Is life again destroyed life? Do they play elsewhere? Do they know? Just
do with first in the point of view of God creating the earth, going through this state of the earth's evolution. The dinosaurs are coming, giving the animals a chance to rise. And then it's from the point of view of, I believe, man, how he interprets his world. How he crosses our feet. And God is still watching. Don't know much about their history, but I have an impression that under the helm of Peter Gabriel, Genesis was just an incredible progressive rock band. And yeah, you know, I don't know, maybe they needed a little bit more time, but would you put them in the same rank, shoulder to shoulder, with the likes of Yes, ELP, Pink Floyd? Where would you put early Genesis under the helm of Peter Gabriel? Because, yo, man, they sing about things in this song, about something very, very vast, you know, a vast expense. And so it seems that those are the subject matters that they were more focused in singing about, you know. Yeah, they can definitely take you on a trip and a journey, can't they? Good song, man. Good song. Watcher of the Skies. It didn't seem like it was 8 minutes. It only felt like it was like 4 minutes. But yeah, good length too. So, a lot of people were asking for more Genesis. Hey, you got to do more Genesis. You got to do more Genesis. So here we are. A lot of folks who ask me to do things, they don't send me links, and I don't have the time to go sourcing my own links, and that never goes well when I do my own sourcing, because usually I'll be, oh man, you didn't get the right one. I wanted this one. I wanted this. So there's always something, right? So without links, I'm not going to do the reaction. That's the bottom line. So if you don't know how to do that, ask me and I'll tell you. But otherwise, you're going to have to figure that out. I will simply not go hunting for a song on your behalf. You have to provide links for me, just so you know, because so many people are asking for this, this, and this, and not providing links. You got to provide me links, man. So, Watcher of the Skies, Genesis. Watcher of the Skies is the first track on Genesis' 1972 album Foxtrot. It was also released as the album's only single. Background. The title is borrowed from John Keats' 1817 poem On First Looking into Chapman's Homer. The song was frequently used to open the group's live performances and features as the first track on their 1973 live album Genesis Live. The song opens with a Mellotron intro. According to Tony Banks, the introductory section was intended to take advantage of idiosyncrasies in the tuning of the Mellotron model he was using at the time. And this is Tony Banks here, quote, "It was intentionally melodramatic to conjure up an impression of incredible size. It was an extraordinary sound. On the old Mellotron Mark II, there were these two chords that sounded really good on that instrument. There are some chords you can't play on that instrument because they'd be so out of tune. These chords created an incredible atmosphere. That's why it's just an incredible intro number. It never sounded so good on the later Mellotron," unquote. Yeah, that's the impression you're getting about this great big, and you're visualizing, you know, the creation of the world as they're singing. You know, you're visualizing the many elements that constructed the earth in different stages, you know, from the Big Bang to the time it actually took to formulate, and then the evolution and the creation of the first life, and then the dinosaurs, and then the dinosaurs moving out of the way to make way for the mammals to rise. And you know, and so the song is taking you into a really cool progression along the course of time. I really like that, and definitely the mellotron kind of created that atmosphere in your mind. The lyrics were written by Banks and Mike Rutherford during a sound check for a gig in Naples. While they were surveying the deserted landscape of the airfield where they were rehearsing, they wondered what an empty Earth would look like in this state if surveyed by an alien visitor. The lyrics were influenced by the Arthur C. Clarke 1953 science fiction novel Childhood's End, as were Pink Floyd's 1972 Childhood's End and Vander Graaf Generator's 1976 Childlike Faith in Childhood's End. Okay, yeah, see, they're knocking on the same door that Pink Floyd was, man. Good company. It opened the band's shows during 72 and 74, and in abridged form, remained a staple in the band's live set into the 80s. In later years, it's been played in a medley following the track It, from 1974, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. The song was never performed with lyrics after Peter Gabriel's departure. During performances, Peter Gabriel wore bat wings on the side of his head, glowing UV makeup around his eyes, and a multicolored cape. Yeah, Peter Gabriel, some sort of a bat creature. Wonder what kind of Batman he would have made. Alright, so that is Wikipedia Song Fact Info, man, on this really, really cool song, Watcher of the Skies. Now let's check out our second track, and that being Dancing with the Moonlit Night. As I was listening to this song, Watcher of the Skies, you guys, when you got time, you must check out the documentary History of the World in 2 Hours. It's on YouTube. That's one of the reasons why I actually started, how I got started with a reaction channel. I first went on to YouTube looking for this documentary, and then I stumbled upon a reaction, and then the rest was history. But check out this documentary, History of the World in 2 Hours. It tells you every single thing about the evolution of the planet, from the Big Bang all the way to our civilized state, and it doesn't miss a single beat. It's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen, man. Check it out. Alright, Dancing with the Moonlit Night. Let's get it.
I am in the English Channel. It is cold, exceedingly wet. I am the voice of Britain before the Daily Express. My name is Britannia. This is my song. It's called Dancing with the Moonlit Night.
Tell me where my country lies, by the uniform to his true love's eyes. It lies with me, cried the Queen of Lady, for her merchandise he traded in his price. Hey, Parliament, cried a voice in the crowd. Old man dies, and empty left keep it there. Bursting your belt, that is your homemade chair. The captain leads through the night. Join the dark, follow us to the clear sunsets in the road. Follow us to the golden score, dancing out with the moonlit light. Knights of the clean shield stand and shout.
Saying about keeping the country's identity, keeping their cultural significance intact. There's a fine lady outside the saloon. Laying out a credit card, she plays Fortuna. The deck is uneven right from the start. All of the hands are playing a part. The captain leads us through the night. Join the dance, run away to the clear sunsets in the road. You're the show, off we go with you. In the hobby horse, I'll be the fool. We'll tease the fool, reaching round and round, loud and loud. Follow us to the clear sunsets in the road. Follow us to the gold is gold. Dancing out with the moonlit light. Knights in the clean shield stand and shout. Is it just me? A young Phil Collins resembles a young Marty Bailey. Let me know if it's just me. Another band utilizing the flute. They're pretty masterful with that cerebral effect. They take their art seriously, man, just like Pink Floyd. Wow, that was excellent. Dancing with the Moonlit Night. I think I'm only catching maybe a bit of the overall meaning of the song. What I'm kind of gathering is that it's encouraging one to maintain the British pride, keep the identity, keep certain things about being British close to your bosom, and not losing it by way of worldly influences. You know, you've got so many different corners of the world that can kind of influence you and take you away from your I guess your native foundation. So I think that's a part of what the song is, and the rest of it is a little bit out of reach. So let's see if we can make sense of it. There's a tremendous amount of poetry going on in here, and even just watching Peter Gabriel and his face painted white and his expressions, you know, and he's got the whole kind of like the feeling of the Phantom of the Opera expressiveness going on, and he's got his timbals and he's looking, and he'd be a really great is it called a face actor or memes or whatever you call those? He would be really good at that, man. I think that's probably where he got his inspiration from. You know, even though the rest of the band, you know, they're just dressed regularly and normally, all eyes are on him, just based on his way of expression and his theatrics, man. Yeah, definitely. He did a lot to put Genesis on the map, obviously. Okay. But it's funny with Genesis, though. Would it be fair to say that after Peter left and Genesis had a resurgence of popularity, of course the sound changed, but the sound changed according to the changing of the times. So it isn't to say that Phil Collins was better than Peter Gabriel at the helm. It's just that times have changed and the music had changed, and I think the changing of the music appealed to a more vast, wider audience base. Would you say that's true? Because earlier Genesis, in a progressive rock state, probably appealed to more adult males, perhaps. And then as times changed and the music changed, Phil Collins took the helm, their appeal was a little bit more broad and wide, and also appealed to a lot of women more so as well, and maybe also to a younger crowd. Would that be a fair assessment? Let me know if I'm on it there. Alright, so Dancing with the Moonlit Night is a song by progressive rock band Genesis. It was released on their '73 album Selling England by the Pound. The song was originally going to be titled Disney. The album takes its name from a lyric in the song. Chris Jones of BBC Music wrote that the song gives the perfect snapshot of what Genesis were all about at this time. Recording. The song was developed from several brief piano pieces composed by frontman Peter Gabriel, which were later combined with some of Steve Hackett's guitar figures to make up the song. So that was Steve Hackett playing lead guitar, I believe. Gabriel contributed English-themed lyrics to Dancing with the Moonlit Night because the music press thought that Genesis were putting too much effort into appealing to the American audiences. He also included some references to Green Shield stamps in the lyrics. Rolling Stone wrote that the song was an epic contemporary commentary on contemporary England, unquote. Okay. Yeah, I think I was close in my assessment there. Live performances. When performed live, Dancing with the Moonlit Night had Gabriel dressed in a Union Jack dress, helmet, and lance. Dancing with the Moonlit Night was performed at the band's 1982 reunion show with Gabriel. Gabriel had originally left Genesis in '75. Yeah, man, that's just so early in their lifespan, I guess, you know, where it comes to taking advantage of that rush in time where it comes to all of these great bands. Let me ask you this. Peter's departure, I don't know how long it was in between Peter departing and then Phil Collins taking over. Did a couple of years pass before they come out with something new, the new Genesis? And then when they came out with something new, was the sound completely different? As a Genesis fan, how did you take it? Were you like, it's good, but it's different and I don't like it as much? Or, wow, this is really cool, they're going in a new direction. I'm excited about that. Let's see where they go with it. Where were you? Let me know. Okay, reception. Genesis guitarist Mike Rutherford said that he thought the song was a good opener for Selling England by the Pound, but he was less happy about the whole song overall. As he said, it was a bit busy. Okay, I see what he means with the instrumentals, and you can kind of lose your way, you know. Ultimate Classic Rock wrote that despite the puns in the song being a bit over the top at times, the band performs at its musical peak in Dancing with the Moonlit Night. Yeah, and those puns being, you know, trying to kind of maintain references towards being British, you know. I think that's overall the big main theme of the song. Okay, so I wasn't too far off. Alright, man. Let's check out our next track. I Know What I Like. Alright. And this is live in 1973, Shepperton. Genesis, I Know What I Like. Let's get it.
Like to take you a little further westward, agriculturally speaking, to where the sweet smell of freshly mown grass pervades our hairy nostrils. Snapping off time for the cosmic lawnmower.
A character, man. Obviously, he had his start on stage in theater.
It's 1 o'clock and time for lunch. Poundy-downdy-downdy. When the sun beats down and I lie on the bench, I can always hear them talk. There's always been asshole. Jacob, wake up, you got to tidy your room now. And then Mr. Lewis, isn't it time that he was out on his own?
Yeah.
sunbeats down and I lie on the bench, I can always hear them talk. Me, I'm just a lawnmower. You can tell me by the way I walk.
Some Beatles works. Wow. Off the top of my head, I can't think of another band, another frontman that theatrical. Can you? Is there? I'm sure I'm probably missing someone obvious, but is there someone as theatrical as that, as expressive as that, making you think and conjure up ideas in your head and images in your head? The way Peter Gabriel leaned into it. Wow, he was really somebody else on stage, wasn't he? And again, you know, it was all about him. It wasn't the musicians, they were just in their normal stuff, and it was just all eyes on him, what he was doing, how he was dressed, how he was expressing himself, his antics, jumping and skipping around. Wow, man, what a front man. Which leads me to my next question. What happened with them? What happened with Genesis? What caused Peter to leave? Was it creative differences? Time was catching up to them? The band wanted to go in a certain direction and he wanted to maintain a certain course? Or he wanted to go in a different direction, the band wanted to maintain a certain course? What was the dynamics of why Peter Gabriel left? Ultimately, in the end, do you think that it was for the best? Had he stayed with them, what would have been the fate of Genesis? Answer those questions for me, will you? I know I ask a lot of questions. All right, man. I Know What I Like, In Your Wardrobe, was the first charting single by rock band Genesis. It was drawn from their 1973 album, Selling England by the Pound. The single was released in the UK in February of '74 and became a hit in April of '74 when it reached number 21 in the UK singles chart. Production. The song's lyrics concern a young man who is employed as a groundsman and who says that he does not want to grow up and do great things, being perfectly happy where he is, pushing a lawnmower. Betty Swanwick's painting, The Dream, which was used for the Selling England album cover, alludes to the song. Swanwick added the more to the original paintings at the band's request. Okay. Got a whole bunch of commas and colons here. The song, inspired by the Beatles, has a psychedelic rock sound, using hand percussion rhythms and a riff from Steve Hackett that originated from a jam between Hackett and Phil Collins. Keyboardist Tony Banks used a note played on the low end of the mellotron during the intro and endings to imitate the sound of a lawnmower. Yeah. yeah, man, it had a Beatles feel to it. I'm trying to recall the song that I'm thinking of. It isn't Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. It's another song. I think both Paul and John sing parts in it. And Paul is telling a story how he's late for work, and he stumbled out of bed, and he went into a dream, and then John sings this dream part. Do you know the song I'm thinking of? That's the song that I was thinking of when I was listening to this song. I'm gonna have to look into that. Beatles, man. Do I even dare attempt a Beatles discography? How would I navigate that? Yeah, what do you think of the Beatles being a candidate for the Led Zeppelin treatment after I'm done with Led Zeppelin? Or do you think it would just be too much for me? Would it be too vast? I probably wouldn't start from the very beginning, or I would have to, wouldn't I? And, you know, just pick select songs, maybe a couple of groupings of quads in the early stuff. How would I do that? Tell me, how would I do it? Or maybe album reactions. Or should I go song to song? Beatles. Maybe that's biting off a little bit too much. I'm not sure. Oh man, where the hell was I? Sorry man, I got lost there. Oh yeah, okay. Yes, imitating the sound of a lawnmower. Reviewing the song in The Guardian in 2014, Stevie Schick said, clocking in at a shade over 4 minutes, I know what I like, rises with a heat haze shimmer, before locking into a groove akin to Traffic's Hole in My Shoe, a hippie reverie that fits the song's slacker vibe like a pair of tailored bell-bottoms, unquote. Released by Charisma in the UK in February of '74, I Know What I Like was the band's only pop hit of their early years, at a time when progressive rock bands largely avoided the singles market. The song was played on top of the pops. Its success would not be topped until... And then there was 3 albums. Follow You, Follow Me, some 4 years later in '78. Until and then there were 3 albums. Okay, that's the name of the album, and then Follow You, Follow Me is the song. Okay, got it. I thought it was just a whole bunch of things jumbled together there for a minute. Okay, man, so that is Wikipedia Song Fact Info on this really, really cool song, man. Very, very expressive. I really liked his antics in that. It really added a lot more to the song. And I'm surprised it could have definitely be stretched out even longer than 4.5 minutes. But all the same, let's check out our final track, man. That being studio rendition of Firth of Fifth. All right. Genesis, Firth of Fifth. Let's get it.
from view, like a cancer growth is removed by skill. Let it be revealed. A waterfall is madrigal, an inland sea is symphony. La na 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 na. Songs urge the sailors on, till lured by the siren's cry. until the shepherd leaves his flock.